I just want to point out to you guys is your final is next Thursday, the the the, the 11th, February 11th. And then make sure you guys sign up for your for college algebra. If you have to earn a C in this class to pass to move on to college algebra. So if you did get a C or better in this class and go to college algebra, you will get a week off. Okay, so let me show it to you. So 11 is your finals. So from 15 to 19 February, you got it off. I think your college algebra starts at 22nd, if I'm not mistaken. February 22nd. So if you sign up either from and you can sign up with different instructor, not just me. So I think you guys sign up with me, the same instructor, but just want to point out to you guys so you guys won't miss the class again. You're going to use the same textbook and the same code. So you do not need to buy any textbook for college algebra because it's going to be the same. Where's my name here? Yep, it starts on 22nd. Yep. And then it goes to May 12th. So you will have class next week with me, and then the following week, the 15th to 19th, you don't have class. That is and then 22nd is where the college algebra start. So if you get at least a C or better in this class, you'll be fine. Those students who did not get a C or better, that means you failed this class, you can retake the class again. There is a late start retaking this class, and I can tell you this late start retaking this class is a bit much slower because this one is a 5 weeks class, right? Because it goes really fast. If you take the late start one, it's going to be like a 10-week class. So the material going to over it is much slower than this one. So some students ask me, is the late start college algebra bridge to college is slower? The answer is yes, like twice the slower. And then same thing with college algebra. Some students ask me also that if you take my late start college algebra, is that going to be crazy like this? 3 homeworks due a week. I can tell you no. In the college algebra, usually you got either 1 or 2 homework due a week if you take it from me. And the material is a bit more difficult than this one, so that's why I give you less homework. But it's a bit more tough for you to understand. You guys clear with the class that you're going to take? And then once you pass your college algebra, if you're going for calculus, you have to take a pre-calculus in this class, in this school. Pre-calculus in this school means trigonometry. So you have to take trig, which is also the same textbook. And then after that, you take calculus, which is another textbook. So this textbook that you're using is good for this class, college algebra and pre-calculus. So this class, we did chapter P and chapter 1. And then when you go to college algebra, we go chapter 2, 3, 4, 5. And then pre-cal will be 6, 7, 8, 9, I think 10, something like that. So the whole book is broken into 3 parts. And each classes teach those parts. Okay. You guys good? All right, so the first question we have in here is question 1.1 question number 7 here. So I did a little bit of this 1.1 question 7. So what we're going to do in this case is we have to, so for this question, we just substitute x into it. So I plugged 0 in here, I plug -2 in here. So I'm going to plug 5 over 4, 1. I'm going to plug 1 in here. So, so this is the equation here. So I will plug 1, but anything multiplied by 1 is the same thing. So you will get 4 over 5. And then you subtract 1 to solve for y. Now, I do not know you guys have, take out your calculator if you have a calculator. I don't know you guys know how to do fractions in your calculator because your calculator have a fraction button. So if you want to do this, if you are lazy, it's like, okay, I got calculators. You can use your calculator. So please take out your calculator. So this, in order for you to 4 over 5 in your calculator, you do 4, and then the ABC symbol, and then 5. So please take out, because I'm teaching you how to use your calculator now, and then you -1. So take out your calculator if you have one, because this you can use a calculator in your test. So if you got fraction like this, you can use your and ABC is a button for your fraction. And when you press it, the screen looks like this. You got a little backwards L like that. So this is for calculators, is fraction. It means 4/5. Sarah, Sinu, Mohammed, you guys got this?
Yeah.
Yep, I got it.
Yep. So what do you get when you press this? You will get a -1 like this one, right? Right? This is what you get. You guys got something like this? Sarah, Sinu, Muhammad, in your calculator?
Sorry, real quick. Hi, yep, I got that.
Okay. Sinu, Muhammad, do you got this?
Yes, teacher. I mean,
Yep.
yes.
Yep.
Okay. Okay, so that means this is -1/5. Okay, so this means -1/5. Sometimes you get something like this in your calculator. If you get something like this in your calculator, it means 3/5. Okay, so if you get something like this in your calculator, it means it's 3/5. So it's just a mixed number. Okay, just for your calculator. So this is -1/5. Okay, and then you put this in 1, -1/5. And then you saw, Sarah, do you know how to fill out this table? Sarah? Or do you want me to continue working on this one? Then Sarah? No, you asked me this question.
Sorry, my son's doctor just called.
Oh, no problem. No problem. No problem.
But I'm
Bad
back.
timing.
Okay.
You okay with filling out this table?
Yes, I'm okay. I think I was confused. I didn't understand we could write in fractions.
Oh, yes.
So
All
it's
your
just
answers is going to be in fractions.
decimals.
I mean, your answer has to be in fractions. So do not use decimals. How do I can tell not decimal is because here they don't say anything. Round your answer in 2 decimal places, round your answer in in 1 decimal. So if they don't say anything about decimal places, that means you have to write your answer in fraction. Do you know how to?
That's gonna help so much. Okay.
Yep, same thing in college algebra. You go to college algebra, if you don't see anything about anything, that means your answer is in fraction.
Awesome.
Do you know
Thank
how
you.
to graph this?
I'm not 100%
Okay,
sure of the
I'll show
fraction.
it to you. Yep. So usually when you need to graph, you need to have 2 points to graph, to draw a line. So you just need to click on this and then select the 2. This is a line. So select this. So the first point is the easiest point, which is 0, -1. So that is right over here. So that's your first point, 0, -1. And then the other one, you can pick either the -2, -13/5, or 1, -5. So if you want to put 1 negative, no, let's do 1 -5. 1 -5, if you put another point, if you select this, then you cannot move this. So you cannot. So they only move it to a nice whole number like 3, 2, 1, 0, but you want a -1/5. And if you figure in decimals, -1/5 is 0.2, -0.2. So what you need to do here is you have to click on this little arrow and then change the second point to -0.2 or -1/5. You can put it that way too. So so it will change to 0.2. So that's the only thing I want to point out to you with this this way how to graph this is they only point out the nice whole numbers, but if this is in a fraction or decimals, you actually have to manually change the coordinates of the location.
Okay, thank you.
And yep, that's how you do, and that's how you do it for this part. Okay. Same thing happens to this one is multiple choice. The next one we have is question 12.
What about question 20?
You got 20? Yep. Yep, 20 is one of them. I got 22.
Yeah. Okay.
So we do 12 here. So symmetrical. So how do we know it is symmetrical to the x-axis, y-axis, origin, or no symmetry? You substitute. Okay. So where's my okay? So if it's a x-axis, if it's symmetry to the x-axis, you just need to substitute your, let me see, I'm thinking about x-axis is this one. So I think you substitute y become negative y. Let me check my notes. This is what happens when I don't have my notes there. Here's my notes, there you go. It's been a long time doing symmetry here. So yep. So when it's the x-axis, you change your y to become negative y. Then if they get the same equation, you get symmetry to the respect to the x-axis. Symmetry respect to the y-axis, you replace x to the negative x, you get the same equation as the original. That is symmetry to the y-axis. Then origin is both x and negative x and y to negative y. So for this, I will show you what does that mean here. So for this question, question 12, you get y equals to x4 minus x squared plus 8. So in order for us to have a symmetry with the x-axis, I will replace the y to become negative y. So this is what is the meaning of it. So my question is this two the same equation?
No.
No. So if it's no, means it is not symmetry with the x-axis. Okay. If you want to have symmetry with the y-axis, you replace x to become negative x. So I take the same equation. I just replace all my x to become negative x. So the question to you is this going to be the same as him? Now, you guys know what happens when you make it to the power 4, right? If you have a negative to the power 4, what do you get?
A positive.
So you still get an x4. Minus square has the same property, so you get an x squared, and then you got plus 8. So my question is, are these two the same, the original ones? Yes. So this is symmetry with the y-axis. Okay. And if you want to figure out if it's symmetry to the origin, you replace x to become negative x, and you replace y to become negative y. So you will get back the same equations as that, but unfortunately that will not happen for origin. So in this case, your answer will be y-axis. You guys good? So that's question 12. Mohammed, beside number 20, what questions do you have? Let's really go down the list here. 19 is my next one. Okay. You guys all right here? Yes, I will go through all this with you guys. So question number 19 is circle. So the circle equation is given us by x minus h squared plus y minus k squared equals to r squared, where your center in this case is hk and your radius is r. Okay, so this question is given us a diameter of 13, -3, and 5/17. So that means that you have a circle and you got these two coordinates, and these two coordinates is the diameter of the circle. So in order for us to find the center of the circle, you need to use the midpoint formula. So this is back to your test that I graded that you took last week. So how do you, so because you got these 2 points, so in order for us to find the center is the midpoint. So you guys remember how you find your midpoint?
x1 plus x2 over 2.
Yep, so take your x, add up and divide by 2. So 13 plus 5 over 2. And then -3 plus 17 over by 2. So this will give us 18 over 2, which is 9. And then this will give me 14 over 2, which is 7. So now my h is 9 and my k is 7. So this is your hk. Okay. Now next you need to do here is to find your radius. Radius, you can find the distance of the diameter. So you find the distance of your diameter, and then you divide this by 2 because the diameter has 2 radius. They are broken into equal sides. So first you find what is the distance first, and then you divide this by 2. So in order for us to find the distance, you use the distance formula. So this is again back to what you guys learned on the previous section. So this is where you take the x2 minus x1. So 5 minus 13 squared plus your y2 minus y1. So 17 minus -3 squared. So this is what you need to do. 5 minus 13 is -8. And when you square the -8, this has become positive 64. For this, you add it. So this is 17 plus 3, which is the 20. And when you square the 20, this is 400. So, so this is going to give us 464 square root. Okay. Usually, if you remember in my test, I want you to simplify this. You break it down, but you do not need to break it down in this case. So your radius in this case will be square root of 464 over 2. But this formula wants us r squared. So what you need to do here now is you square both sides. So once you square both sides, you get yourself the r squared because the formula needs an r squared here. So the square and square root will cancel. So what you get here is 464. And then 2 squared will give us 4. So now you just need to take a calculator and figure out what is 464 divided by 4. That's 116. So your answer in this case will be x minus 9 squared, don't forget the square, plus y minus 7 squared equals to 116. So this is how you do this question number 19. And yes, this question is coming out in your finals. Okay, I just want to put a star on it. So if you guys want to take a picture now, please take a picture because this question 19 is coming out in your final. So please make sure you guys know how to do this question. Okay. You do need to know your midpoint and your distance formula in order for you to do this question. You guys all right?
So we answer this in a formula.
Yep.
In
so you
question,
yep.
Not we don't plug everything in and find the actual.
Nope. This is your answer. This is what we call as an equation of a circle.
Okay.
So you just type x minus 9 squared plus y minus 7 squared equals to 116, I believe. No. So you put this exactly like this in there. That's the reason why I do not want you guys to break down this 464 is because you're gonna square it later on, and when you square a square root, they will cancel. So that's why I want you to leave the square root right there first. You guys all right?
Yep.
20. Question 20 is to figure out, it's given us this equation of a circle, looks very similar to this one. They want you to find the center and radius, and they want you to draw a circle. So since your h and k is you don't see any hk here next to your x and y. So your center is going to be 0, 0. Your radius is not 81. You have to square root it. So what is the square of 81? That will be square of 81. That will be 9. So this is how you do your center and your radius. And how do you graph a circle here is first you have to click this circle. This is a circle, so you have to click this button. And then 0, 0 is where your center is. You go 0, 0. And then your radius is 9, so you go all the way till 9, either 9 here or 9 here or -9 on those. So click on it, and they will draw yourself a circle. So make sure you know that every time you draw a circle, you need 2 things. Your center, 0, 0. And then the radius is 9, so you go all the way to 9, and then you draw a circle here. You guys all right here with this one?
Can you show me how to draw the circle again? Sorry.
You're fine. Yep. So I'm gonna clear everything. So first thing first, you click the circle, and then the center is 0, 0. You click that on. That's your center. And the radius is 9, so you go all the way till 9 because that's the radius. And then you will draw a circle for you. I'll do another example. You okay here, Mohammed?
Yeah, thank you, teacher.
Yep. So it's easy. This is easy. This one, so for 21, because we have an HK, so I want to point out to you guys is that when you have an HK like this, your center is having opposite sign. So that means that if you see a -9 here, your center is a +9. If you see a +7, then your center here will be a -7. So this is something that I want to point out to you guys, that if you see a sign inside your HK center, the sign is in opposite. So for this question number 21, when you see a -4 here, so your center in this case is just 4 because -4 opposite is +4. +7 become -7. So this is your center here. The radius is square root of 9 over 4. Last time 81, square of 81 is 9. So you need to do the square root of 9 over 4. So what is the square root of 9 over 4? 9 is a perfect square of, what's perfect square of 9? This is 3. And 4 is a perfect square of
2.
2. So your radius in this case is 3 over 2 in fraction again, because they don't mention anything about decimals. That means your answer is fraction. How do you find your answer is first, figure out where is your center at, 4, -7. So if I want you to figure out the center, where is 4, -7 in this case? 4 is here, -7 is here. So it's going to be in quadrant 4. So the only answer that you see here that is, what happens? Oh my Lord. What's going on with you? So the only answer that you have is this one. So this is the one that has a -4 because your coordinates is 4, -7. The rest having a different coordinates value. And then the radius here is 3 over 2. So what you do here is you just take 3 over 2 is the same thing as 1.5. So you just put 1.5, 1.5, 1.5, and then 1.5, and then you draw yourself a circle. You guys okay here?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know what happens with this one. It's weird things happen. Anyone have any questions on 1.1? Because that's the weird one. I haven't seen that before on this one. Anyone have any questions on 1.1? Okay. Next, we're gonna go on to 1.2. So question number 15. So we did that before, but it's fine. I'll do it again. Anyone have any questions on 1.2? You can talk to me now. Mohammed or Sinu, I got 15 and then I got 19 and 21. These are the 3 questions I will go over. Any one of you guys have any questions beside this? Any student? Let me know. Okay. So when you guys get a fraction like this, so in order for us to solve a fractions, you have to find the LCD. But everything has to be in fractions, so this one has to be over 1. So can someone tell me what is the LCD in this case? The common denominator. A number that 4 can goes into there, 2 can goes in there, and 1 can goes in there. So what number can goes into those numbers? And usually, although it's called the least common denominator, this number is actually, it's not small, it's pretty big. It's not 1, it's not 2. So the answer should be 4. 4 can goes into 4, 2 can goes into 2, and 1 can goes into 4. So once you know your LCD is 4, then you need to figure out your that make all your denominators the same as 4. So what do I do here is this is already 4. I do not need to multiply anything. This one I need to multiply by 2 because that will make him 4. This one I will multiply by 4 to make 4. And then this one I multiply by 2. So now your denominator is 4, 4, 4, 4. So what you can do here is you can cancel the whole denominator out. You can only do this when you are solving an equation. Okay, so when you're solving this equation, you can cancel out. So what you left here is your numerator, and you solve it. 5x plus 2 equals to 4x minus 2. So you make sure you multiply these numbers in there. And then solving this is easy. So I subtract 4x to make it over there. And I subtract 2 to solve it over here. So then this is x, and this is negative 4. So this is your answer in this case. You okay there, Sarah?
Oh, yep, I got it.
Yep. Next is 19. Again, these are the few questions that Sarah asked, but you guys are always welcome to ask me, Mohammed and Sinu. This is 1.2. You got a question, Mohammed?
Question 25.
Okay, good. I'll add on to you. Just voice out. Don't be shy, because I'm teaching you guys here. This is where you learn. And yes, you will get question number 19 in your test, in your finals. When is your finals? Next Thursday. Okay, not tomorrow, but the following week. Yep, you will get these kind of questions, or maybe number 20. Yeah, I will show it to you. 3x plus 1. Yep. So first thing you need to do here is, because this is again fraction. So in order for us to do fraction is you also need to find LCD here. So can someone tell me what is your LCD here? This is what you guys learned in chapter P.
Is it the 3x plus 1?
And also?
X minus 1?
Yep. So LCD in this case, if you have an x term, you just combine them. So this is 3x plus 1, let's say LCD, and then x minus 1 is on the LCD. So that is your LCD in this case. You guys okay here? If this is factorable, you have to factor it. But none of the denominators can be factored. So that's why you don't have to worry about factoring it. So as usual, you want to make all this denominator the same as your LCD. So you multiply something. So this one, you need to multiply with 3x plus 1. And anything you multiply to the bottom, you have to multiply the same thing on the top. This is the rule of fraction, right? Like here, you multiply 2, you have to multiply 2 on top. This one, you have to multiply with x minus 1. So you multiply this with x minus 1. This one also is missing x minus 1. So don't forget to multiply the same. And now your denominator is the same as your LCD. You can cancel it off. Okay, make sure you can do that when you solve. So what you left in this case is your numerator. We're going to solve it. Distribute that. So you will get 12x plus 4 plus distribute this, you get 8x minus 8. And then distribute the last one, you get 13x minus 13. So this is a bit easy to solve now because it's no longer a fraction. So combine like terms. So 12x and 8x will give you 20x. And then 4 and minus 8 is a like term. So it becomes negative 8, negative 8, negative 4. 4 take away 8 is negative 4. And this is 13x minus 13. So as usual, we solve it like usual. So we subtract 13x here. And then I add 4. Because negative, when you do it, you add opposite. So this will give me 7x. And this will give me what? Let me see. Negative 13 minus 4 is negative 9, right? Yep. And then you divide this by 7. Okay. Now, usually this is your answer. Oh, I move on. That's my answer, negative 907. But make sure you check your answer. The reason why you need to check your answer is because this one we don't need to check because you don't see any x in your denominator, right? You don't see any x in here. So you do not need to check it. But this question have x in your denominator. So you have to check it. The reason why you have to check for this question is because we do not want this to become 0. Okay, so we try not to don't want this to become 0. That's the one that drives me crazy. So so what you're gonna do is you check, and the best way to check it is just plug this into your LCD. And we try to not make it to become 0. If it's not 0, then this is check. What happens when you plug in and you get exactly 0? This is what, if you get exactly 0, this is what we call as an extraneous solution. And extraneous solution means that it is a solution, but when you plug it in, it does not work. So when you get an extraneous solution, that solution will be rejected and your answer will be a no solution. Okay. So if you plug 9/7 in here, will that make this 0? The answer is no. So this is a good. Can someone tell me what x, when you plug in here, will make him 0? Anyone? Will make him 0. You just make them equal to 0. Can you solve for x here? What happens when you solve for make them equal to 0 and solve for x? What you get? This is negative 1/3, and this is what? 1. So if your x solution that you solve is either negative 1/3 or 1, then these are considered extraneous solution. And you learn this in chapter P. Remember last time I give you a fraction like this in your test, and I asked you for the domain. Remember how you do your domain? You set this equals to 0, right? And then you say it's all real numbers except, this number, right? This is the same thing when you check this, is because you don't want this to become 0. So you set your LCD equals to 0 and solve for it. And this number that you get is what we call as extraneous solution. So when you solve this x, and let's say you solve this x and this x came out to be exactly 1, then this is extraneous solution. It does not check. You guys okay here with checking your answer here? So your answer in this case is negative 9/7, which is check. This is number 19.
So we'll need our check in our notes when we submit.
Oh, yeah. See, okay. You have to check it, and if it's an extraneous solution, you have to enter no solution.
Okay.
I think 20 is the one that is you get no solution. I can do 20 and let you guys see it.
Yes, please.
So 20. And this is recorded. So if you guys, you can rewatch it again. I'll post in D12. So this is number 20. So again, you need to factor because this one, the first one can be factored. What can you tell me about factoring on this one? What's the factor for him? You can factor out what? Anyone know how to factor this one? This one is no longer factor. Can someone guess what's the factor for him?
Is it x minus x?
No. What can you factor out? What can you pull out? What's the common factor here? What's that in common?
X.
X. You can factor out x, and what you get?
X minus 2.
X minus 2. So this is the same as those two. You see that? So usually when you factor it, it's the same as those two. So what is the LCD in this case?
Is x times x minus 2.
Yep, it's x times x minus 2 because those appeared x twice, you put one time, and then x minus 2 is there. So this is your LCD in this case. You do not need to multiply anything on the first one because it's the same as your LCD. This one you need to multiply by x minus 2 because it's missing. And this one you need to multiply by x because it's missing x. So now all your denominator is the same as x minus 2. So you can cross them all out. So your numerator in this case is 8 plus 8x, distribute your 8, minus 16, because 8 times negative is 16, equals to 4x. Again, this is multiplication, not minus. So you multiply. So 4 times x is 4x. So now you solve for x. This is very easy to solve now. So, so this is 8x minus 8, because 8 minus 16 is negative 8 equals to 4x. And then I subtract 8x here so that my x is all on one side. So I move the 8x over here. So it becomes negative 8 equals to what you got? Negative 4x. And then you divide this by negative 4. What's your answer here?
Positive 2.
2. So a lot of students put 2 in here. They will mark wrong. The reason why it's marked wrong is now you check your answer. You have to check your answer. So how do you check it is you plug this back into here. So if you plug 2 in here, will you get 0? When you plug 2 in here, will you get 0? 2 times what? Does anyone know 2 minus 2 is 0, right? So what's 2 times 0?
0.
You get 0. So what happens when you get 0? Is this check or no check? This is rejected. You guys okay here? So if this is only rejection, then there's no solution in this case. So your answer will be no solution. Make sure you type all in caps because they will mark you wrong. You guys all right?
Yep.
Okay. And the last few questions here is to find your x-intercept. So question number 21 is the one that is to find your x and y-intercept. So which is y equals to 18 minus 7x. So in order for us to find your x-intercept, you have to substitute y becomes 0 and solve for x. So what you do here is you put this y becomes 0 inside here. So you will get 0 equals to 18 minus 7x. And then you move the negative 7 over here. So I got 7x equals to 18. And then I divide this by 7. So your x-intercept is 18 over 7. But when you look at this they want this in coordinates. So when they want this in the coordinates, if you type 18/7, that is wrong because that's not in coordinates, because your answer here is 18/7, 0, because you plug in 0 in the y. Remember when you plug y becomes 0? So your coordinates here is 18/7, 0. You guys all right?
Yep.
And then you do the same thing for the y-intercept. So your y-intercept, you just need to plug x to become 0. So you will get y equals to, so you plug the y, x becomes 0. So 18, because this will become 0. Negative 7 and 0. So your answer is not 18. Your answer is 0, 18 in coordinates. So this one is 0, 18 with a comma. So this happens for almost everything from 21, 22, 23 onwards. So make sure you make sure you have your answers in fractions and also in coordinates form for these 3 questions here. Sarah, you all right?
Yep. I think it was the fractions that were messing me up.
Yep. Again, put your fractions because the answer here doesn't ask for decimals. This is the one that wants you to in decimal. So if their question was in decimal, they will say round your answer in 3 decimal places. That means that's 1 decimal. And in question 24, you have to use a calculator. That I can tell, I guarantee you that, okay? So no calculators, forget about it. So when you distribute the 6.5, make sure you use a calculator to do this. So your answer is full with decimals. Okay. Same thing with the word problem here. You just need to substitute h. You need to find h when surface area is 785. So you plug 785 in here, and you plug 3.14 as pi, and you try to solve for h. You guys know how to do like this kind of questions?
Yes.
It's mostly it's calculator again. So make sure you have a calculator in this case, okay, so for when you do your test. Anyone have any questions in 1.2 here before we go on to the word problem on 1.3, which is the hardest one?
I'm good.
Good. Sinu Muhammad, questions?
No.
Okay, 1.3. This is the one that allows. This is word problem. This is the most difficult one. So 1.3. When you guys do word problem, I do not know you guys. So make sure you download my application, or if you want to take a picture now, please take a picture right here. This is a picture that I would suggest you if you have a phone or something else. This is the keywords that we use a lot. So like some of you doesn't know like the word lessen, subtract, increase, sum. Those are the words that we use for addition, subtraction, multiply, divide. But I want to point out a few things about the one that I circle, the less than and subtracted from. Okay, so you guys took a picture already? Okay, you can also get this in your in D12, this word. So everything is the same thing, but the word less than and the word subtracted from. So if I say 5 less than 3, how do you write this? How do you write 5?
3 subtracting 5.
Yes.
No, sorry. Yeah, that's right.
Yes. That's why I circle this. So the reason why I circle these 2 words here is because when you subtract, you have to do it the opposite. So when I say 5 less than 3, it is 3 minus 5, not 5 minus 3. This is wrong. Okay. Same thing with subtracted from. 5 subtracted from 3 is also 3 minus 5, not 5 minus 3. This is something that I really want you guys to know this, because a lot of students put 5 minus 3 on these 2, and no matter how right you did, it's still going to be wrong. Okay, but the rest of it, like difference, the difference between 5 and 3, then your answer is 5 minus 3. Okay, so you take the first one minus the second one, but the word less than and subtracted from, you have to take the second one minus the first one. You guys know what I'm trying to say here?
Yep.
Okay, so please make sure you guys know this because this is one of common mistakes students do. So we'll look at question number 6. This is the one that a lot of students need help, which is fine. Now, this question wants us to write an algebraic expression. Do you guys know what is algebraic expression is? Is algebraic expression an equation? Is algebraic expression an equation? Anyone? Is this an equation? So this is what we call as algebraic expression. Do you see any equal sign on it? No. Okay. So when you have this 3x minus 4, this is called algebraic expression. When you got 9x squared plus 5, this is also called algebraic expression. If you put two algebraic expression with an equal sign, this will become an equation. You guys with me here? So this is algebraic expression. This is also algebraic expression. And then you have equal signs, you have equation. Once you got an equation, you can solve it. You can solve an equation. But when you have an algebraic expression, you cannot solve it. The only thing you can do when you have algebraic expression is to simplify it. That means combine like terms and distribute and all these things. So algebraic expression, you cannot solve, you can simplify. Equation, you can solve. So that's the difference between algebraic expressions and equations. So like question 6, they're asking for the product of two consecutive natural number, where first is n. So the first thing I need to talk to you about is consecutive numbers. Consecutive natural numbers. So what is consecutive? Consecutive means next to each other. So if I say 7, what is the next number next to 7?
8.
8. And then 9. And then 10. This is what we call as consecutive natural numbers. But the first number in this case is n, not 7. So if this is n, then what is the second number? What is the second consecutive number in terms of n?
N plus 1.
This is n plus 1. And the third consecutive?
N plus 2.
And then n plus 3. So this is for consecutive natural number. I know it's very difficult to read here. Sorry about that. You can check it by plugging 7 here. So if you plug n is 7, this will give us 8 because 7 plus 1 is 8. 7 plus 2 is 9. And then 7 plus 3 is 10. And then this one goes on. So this is your consecutive natural numbers formula. And how many do we need here is we just need 2. So 2 in this case means we just need this 2. This is 2 consecutive n and n plus 1. And what do we need to do here is we need to do the product. Does anyone here know what operation is product? Addition, subtraction, multiplication, division.
Multiplication.
Again, if you doesn't know, you can use this. Product is multiplication. So that's the reason why you need to know the name for it. Quotient is division. Okay, so make sure you guys know. So that means you just need to take n times n plus 1. And you do not need to FOIL or distribute or anything. That's your answer. So your answer in this case is n plus 1. Multiply. Sino, you okay?
Can you say n squared plus n?
I do not know they will mark you right or wrong, but leave your answer as this. So don't multiply, because they say in the verbal description means that they don't want you to do simplifying. They don't want you to combine like terms. They don't want you to.
They said it is right. I said n squared plus n.
I'll check and see if
I think
If
the
they-
video says to do n squared.
let's see if this is correct or not. Either way, it's fine with me because in the test usually I don't ask this. Yeah, it's also correct. So yeah, you can do it the other. You can distribute too. It's up to you. You guys all right with that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm not picky too. If you want to distribute, I'm fine with it. Okay, that's up to you. Next is question number 14. It's asking us that we have a rectangular room. So I just do a rectangular room. Draw a picture. It's 1.5 times as long as its width. So this is something I will teach you how you know which one is a variable x. Because once you know how to assign a variable x to this kind of questions, then the rest is going to be easy. It says that the perimeter is 45 meters. Draw the visual program, visualize, which is the visually. Let L be represent the length and W is the width. So the length is this, which is the width is this one. Okay. So my question to you is, which one of these is going to be x? Your length or your width? And if you pick it wrong, everything is wrong. So you have to be careful here. So what give us the x? So anyone want to know which one is your x here? It says the rectangular room is 1.5. Yes. So this is something I want to tell my students here, even though this is using calculus and pre-cal and college algebra. If you have word problem like this, the one that comes last, because you got length and you got width, right? So the one that comes last is always your x. So if you read this question, the width is the one that comes last. This is your x. And it's always work that way. Okay, always. I've been teaching this for, I don't know, 15 years. It's always that way. And 1.5 times, what is the meaning of 1.5 times? Width is x, right? So 1.5x, that will be your what? That is your length. So this is how we initiate, how we do that, figure out which one is x. Read the question, the one that comes last is always x, and then the other one is 1.5 of it. Okay. Because it's a rectangle, so this width is also x, and this length is also 1.5x. Now, does anyone know what's the meaning of the perimeter?
All the way around.
So add everything. So you add all. So you add x plus 1.5x plus x plus 1.5x. And this is equals to 45 meters. Okay. And this is why they say write L in terms of W. So this will be 1.5 W. Because they don't use x here, they use w. So this is, I just changed use x. Write an equations of a perimeter in terms of w. So this is the equation. So can someone combine all these because they are like terms? This is 1.5,
5x.
1.5. This is 5x equals to what?
45.
45. So this is the equations of a perimeter here. Instead of x, we use w. 5w. Right. It's the 5w. Okay, which is this one. This is your perimeter equation because you add every single one of this. So it's 5w. So can someone solve for x here? X in this case is what?
8.
No, it's not 8.
Oh. 9.
9. So your width in this case will be x, which is 9. So we know the width is 9. And what happens to your length? You multiply it by 1.5. So you plug 9. So what is 1.5 times 9?
13.5.
Yep. So it's 13.5. So it's 13.5. You guys okay with number 14?
Yep.
Sinu, are you all right?
Yep.
So make sure you guys know how to do this because it will be used again in college algebra. 18. Muhammad, you have any questions for me with this section? This is the number that we're going over. We're going over 18 now. And then the next one is 21 till 23. And then 30 and 31. So these are the questions that we go over in 1.3. If you have extra than this, please make sure you let me know. Muhammad, you got it? So these are the questions we're going over, but if you have more than this, just let me know. Number 18, this is number 18 here. This question is asking us, you have a 15,000 in investment, and you will invest into 2 accounts. One is 3%, and one is 4.5%. I just changed that into decimal because I like decimal than that. This is Iki. During 1 year, the account earns interest of $600. So the interest earned is $600. So the question in this case is how much money do we invest in each account? So this is something you guys got in your ACT or SAT. I can tell you that. So what you do first is you need to know a formula to do this kind of questions. And you need to also use a box. Okay. So the formula in this case is your interest is based on principal, the amount that you put in, times the rate, times the time. Now the good news is because this is all 1 year, so the time is 1 year, and anything multiplied by 1, you get back the same thing. So that's why we do not need your time here. Okay. And you got 2 accounts, one is a 3% and one is 4.5%. You have to change this into decimal. Do you know how to change 3% and 4.5% into decimals? 3% is point what?
3.
0.3, not 3. 0.3 is 30%.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how to change 4.5% into decimals?
0.045.
Yep. Now, let's say one of these is X, because as usual, we always need to declare where is the X. So the principal is the one that you have to declare X. Which one you want me to declare X in this case? The 3% or the 4.5% in the principal? Let's say here. I do not know. I just put X here because I don't know how much 3% is. Now, a lot of students will put Y here because we doesn't know how much. This is the one that the question wants us to find, how much amount that you put in X and how much amount you put in Y. But we do not want to do 2 variables here. We can do it as 1. So how do we figure out this in terms of X? You know the total is 15,000. So this, if one of them is X, the other one will be 15,000 minus X. Because if I invest 5,000 here, then this will be 10,000. And how do we know 10,000 is because 15,000 minus 5,000, 10,000. Because when you add these 2 up, the total should be 15,000. So that's why if one of them is X, the other one is the total minus the X. Okay. The rate is the same thing as this, 0.03 and 0.045. Now the question is how you figure out the interest. So for interest, you just need to take the principal times the rate. So this will be 0.03x. So you multiply these 2 together. This also the same thing. In order for us to find the interest is 0.045 multiplied by the 15,000 minus X. So I just multiply these 2 up. That's how you figure interest. And the question says that the total interest is $600, the total. So with this, column, you can create an equation. Can someone tell me what is this equation looks like? The total of this interest is $600. How do you put this in an equation? You just simply do it with these two. What's the meaning of the word total? Should we add, subtract, multiply, divide these two up?
Add.
Add. So you just take 0.03x plus 0.045 times with 15,000 minus x, and the total in this case is $600 interest. Yes. Someone asked me, do we have a shortcut to do this? The answer is no. This is the most shortest cut I can teach you. There's no shortcut to do it. So now you need to solve for x here. So the first thing you need to do here is to distribute this 0.05. Make sure you have your calculator handy. So take out your calculator and help me to calculate this. Where's 0.045 times 1500? 15,000, not 100, 15,000. Make sure there's 3 zeros, not 2 zeros. That came out to be what?
675.
675. So this plus 675. Minus this is become 0.045x, because 0.045 times negative x is negative 0.05x, and this is still 600 here. So what do I do here is, because these are all x terms, they are like terms, I can combine it. They are the x terms, sorry. So what is 0.03 take away 0.04?
0.075.
Negative, right? This is negative 0.015x, right?
Yeah.
And then this 675, because it's a plus, I will move it over here. This will become minus 675. So I'm trying to, this is like solving equation. I make all the x on one side and all the numbers on the other side. So 600 subtracted by 675, this will become negative 75. And then you divide this with negative 0.015. So what is that going to be? So 75 divided by 0.015. It's going to be positive answer. It's 5,000 actually. So this is 5,000 here. So now my question is, which one of this is 5,000? The 3% or the 4.5%?
3%.
Because our x here is already says is for 3%. So that means 3% you invest $5,000. So how much money do we invest in 4.5%?
It's 15,000 minus 5,000, so 10,000.
Yes. So this is how we do this, because the sum of these two should be added up to 15,000. So your answer in this case is this that I just did. What was it? This one. 3% is 5,000, and 4.5 is 10,000. You guys doing all right here?
Yeah.
Okay. Same thing when you do question number 19 and 20. These two questions I will do. These two questions, 19 and 20, is very similar to this way. So you do need to draw a table to do this question. Okay. Next is number 21, 22, and 23. These are what we call as solve for W or L. Now, before you do all these three questions here, make sure you follow what they do. So if this is a capital V, you have to use back capital V. If this is all capital S, L, and R, you have to use capital, because if you use a lowercase here, they will mark you wrong. Okay, so make sure you guys, this is something I want to point out to you guys when you guys do solving this kind of equation. So like 21, capital V in this case is LWH, and you want to solve for W. When I say solve for W, means I want W by itself. How do we get rid of L and H? Should we add them, subtract them, multiply them, or divide them to get rid of this L and H?
Divide them.
So you will need to divide this by L and H. As you know that when you divide, you also have to divide this on that side. So the L and H will be canceled. So your W in this case is V over by L over H. And this V has to be capital. So make sure you put a capital V divided by the L and H is a lowercase. You guys with me here?
Yep.
And they are very picky. These homework questions are very picky. Same thing in the test. If I cover this in the test, if this is capital, make sure you put it capital. If they are lowercase, make sure you put in lowercase. Sinu, you okay with this?
Yep.
For question number 21, you want to solve for L because that's what they say. So if you see this, these two have in common. So what you need to do, if you see something with an addition, subtraction, and something in common, you have to factor it. So that means this can be factored L out. What happens when you factor L out? You get what? When you take L, 1 minus R. This is 1, not L. This is 1. So how do we get rid of this so that L is by itself? Should we add them, subtract them, multiply, or divide?
Divide.
Yep, because this is multiply. So the opposite of multiply is divide. So you have to divide this with 1 minus R. So this will cancel out. So this is your answer. So your answer in this case is capital S over by 1 minus capital R. Make sure you know this is all capital. All right, lastly is 23. Sinu, you're gonna try question 23? Capital A equals to capital P plus capital P RT, and we need to solve for T. So Sinu, do you need to factor this case?
Yes.
No.
Oh.
Yeah. So my question to you guys is, when do you know, like 22, why we need to factor it? 23, why we don't factor it? Anyone know why we don't factor on number 23?
Because it's an addition?
No.
No.
Even though this is an addition, you still have to factor it for 22. Because of what you try to solve at. See, on 22, you're solving for L, right? So you see L on both of this.
Oh, okay.
That's why you have to factor it. But this time we are not solving for P. If you are solving for P, then yes, you will require factoring. Okay, but this is not solving for P. This is solving for what?
T.
T. So you do not need to factor it. So if I want to solve for P, then you have to factor it. You guys see the difference now?
Yes.
When you require factoring and when you don't need factoring. Okay. So which one should we get rid of first, the P or the PR?
The P.
This P. And how do we get rid of this P? This is addition, right? What's the opposite of addition? You subtract it. Or you move it to that side. So become A minus P. Don't forget this P is capital, equals to PRT. And now I need to get rid of this PR. How do we get rid of PR?
Division.
Division, because they all multiply. So opposite is division. So in this case, you also have divided.
Is that an interest formula?
Yes, this is the interest formula. Okay, this is the interest formula. Yep, all the formula that you see here, this is their formula. This is interest formula. I think this is this one is a volume formula.
Okay.
This one, I think, I don't know what formula is this, but it's a formula. So every single one of this is a formula. I don't know what formula is this. This is an interest formula. This is a volume for a box. So again, when you type this, make sure your AP are caps, your R is lowercase. So it's going to be A minus P divided, oh, sorry. Let's put a division symbol here. So it's A minus P. What is the lower PR? And the R is a lowercase. So make sure you know all these little things because they are very picky. And same thing in my test, if I come up with this kind of problem, make sure that you use caps and lowercase to distinguish. You guys all right with this kind of questions?
Yes.
And then the last two will be 30 and 31. Yep, mixture problem. Yep, perfect. So majority of the questions that you have here is either you draw a picture, like if you have like a rectangle or triangle or trapezoid or whatever shape, draw a picture. But if you have a mixture problems, like the account of 3%, 5%, we will use table, okay? So in this question number 30, you will have to mix two things up. So again, we need table to do this. You got 100% concentration to be mixed with a mixture of 40% and 65%. So you're gonna mix this 40% of something, of this is a concrete, 40% of 40 gallons of concrete with a so you 100 mix. So you got 40% and 100%. So you mix these two together, and you will obtain a 65%. So this is the mixture in this case. This is your final mix. Okay. So what you need to know here is you have to figure out what is the amount that you put in there, the percentage, which is this percent, and then you will get yourself the mixed product. Okay, and how do we find this mixed product? You just need to multiply the amount with the percent, and you get your mixture product. So this percent is easy. It's just exactly the same as this, which is 0.4. 100% is 1, and 65% is 60.65. Okay, this is from the percentages. And we know the amount. The amount for 40% is 40 gallons. So it's right here. So the amount for this is 40 gallons. How much 100% that we need? So this is the one that we do not know. The 100%, the amount for 100%, that's what we figure out. How do we figure out this? Is because when you mix, this is a total. That means you add this up. So this will be x plus 40 or 40 plus x. Okay. And how you figure out this mixture, you multiply. So you take these two and multiply it. So what is 40 times 0.4? Calculator, 40 times 0.4. This is 16. 1 times x, or x times 1 is x. And then this one, when you multiply, is equal, is a 0.65 times with x plus 40. So you multiply these two up. So where is the equation? The equation comes from this. Again, this is your total. So that means that if you add 16 plus x, if you add these two, you will get the total of 0.65 x plus 40. So every time when you guys have a mixture problem like number 30, this is what it looks like. Okay. And you begin to solve it. So you have to distribute your 0.65 in here. So 16 plus x equals to 0.65 x plus 0.65 times 40. What's that? 26. Yep. And then I will subtract 0.65 here. And then I will subtract 16 here. I'm trying to isolate my x. So this is 1. Don't forget, this is 1. So what is 1? Take away that. So 1 minus 0.65. that is 0.35x. And then the subtraction is 10. And then you divide this by 0.35. So 10 divided by 0.35. This will give me 28 point something. So this question once in, so now you read the question, how many decimal place you need. So this one needs in 1 decimal place. So 1 decimal place is 28.6. So this is 28.6 in 1 decimal place. You guys all right here?
Yep.
So again, this is for mixture problem. So anytime when you have a mixture problem, this is what you guys do. Like I see just now early on, mixtures of nuts, you know, you put some almond and pecan or whatever nuts, and you know, so anything with mixture of cement, mixture of acid, like you know, in chemistry you got this 30% acid and 40% acid, something like that. So anything with the mix, the word mix in there, this is how you do it. You guys all right here?
Yeah.
Tough. Is mixture is this kind? Oh, wrong. Eh? This is wrong. Let me double check. This should be correct. That is weird. That is wrong. I'm just double checking my math. Sorry. That is surprisingly, that should be correct. Wow. 26, this is correct. 10, so. Oh my God. So if you have this kind of questions come up, which I think is correct, that's 28.6. What the heck? This, so if you got some kind of these questions in your homework that is mark you wrong, but you think is correct, send an email to me and I will check your work. I don't know why this is wrong. This should be correct, 28.6. Then what is your answer in this case? I don't know what's the answer. I will check this. The answer should be this 28.6. I don't know what. This is weird. Anyway, I will check it. Your answer should be 28.6. So I will double check this one with you guys. So it's so mind-boggling. Sorry. So let's take a look at the last one, number 31, before we end this. Outdoor furniture has fixed cost of $14,000 per month, and the average variable cost is $14.25 per unit factoring. So a company has 105,000 available cover for monthly cost. How many units can this company manufacture? Fixed costs are those that occur regardless of level of production. Variable costs, the answer should be term of whole unit produced. So the outer fixed cost is 14 and the average. So this is what we call as a cost. Okay. So this cost is saying that it's a fixed cost of 14,000 a month plus 14.25 per unit. Per unit means every unit. So X in this case is how many units we have. Okay. And then the company has 1,005 above cover for the monthly cost. So the monthly cost in this case is 10500. So this is how much, another zero. So this is how much the company has. So the question is asking is, if the company has this much money for the 1 month cost, how much can they produce? So in this case, you just need to solve for X in this case. Okay, so for this question is, this is your cost, and you take this plus this, that will be your cost with an X on it. So so for this question, you just subtract 14,000 here. So that will be, this is, I will check for this one. That's really weird. 105,000 subtracted by 14,000, which is 91,000. And then this is 14.25x. And then you have to divide this by 14.25 to get your x. So you take this 91,000 divided by 14.25. This will become 6,000 something. 638, this is the answer. 6385 something. But the question wants this in units. So as you guys know that you cannot have decimals. So what is the closest units that you can have here? 6386, because 9 is big enough to round. So it's 6386 in this case. 6386. So make sure that when you guys do these units, you cannot have a, oh my God, this is still wrong. What happens to me today? Is it 6385? Let's do one more and then I will explain. So it's either one of these two. Yep. The reason why this one you cannot round up to 6 is because if you put 6386 into here, so you cannot use 6386 here. The reason why is because when you put 6386, your cost will be more than 105000. But because your cost is this much cost, you don't have that much. So that's why you cannot round up. So you have to use the 6385 here. Okay. So for this kind of questions, when they talk about this is how much do you have and you got a decimals, you cannot round up here. Although it's very close, you know, the 9 is very close to 6. Because when you put 6386 inside here, it is more than this money. And you only have this much money. You cannot do more. So anything with budget, your budget is this much, you cannot go over it. So if you put 6386, you're over your budget. But if you put 6385, you are still below your budget. So that's the reason why that every time when you do this, you will do you do not round this kind of questions. You guys all right here? I will check with number 30. So if you guys still do your homework and you still get wrong on this question number 30, the way that I do here, please let me know, because I will double check. I don't know why it's wrong, but I will definitely double check for you. Okay, so this is weird. This is, I don't know why this is wrong. Okay, I will check for you. So does anyone have any questions, because the time is up for today's? So so don't forget 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3 homework is due this weekend. And then you only left 3 more homeworks left, which is 1, 4, I think it's 1, 5, and 1, 7. Okay, so these are the only homework left in your this class. So this class you only left with 3 more homeworks. So if you did 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, which is due this Wednesday, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 7, that is due on next Wednesday, and that's it. That is the last 3 homework you got to do. And then your test will be 1, 1, 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 7. So these 6 sections will be your finals on next Thursday. Do you guys have any questions for me?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
For class.
Yep. If you have any questions, please email me.